the stuff set up so your audio is in there. So if you want to mute yourself, you'll have to.
I've got it open. If I'm gonna be reading again, is there any way you can turn down the music?
Yeah.
I don't have to read either.
No, it's fine.
Are you okay?
Yeah.
You don't seem okay.
I'm fine, I promise.
Okay. Do you want me to keep reading?
Yeah. I'm about to fight a dragon, so.
Sure it's not the Wyvern's mommy? Baby stealing bastard.
She was hot.
What the fuck?
What are you talking about?
The egg?
Oh, no. I mean, maybe. Those are wyverns, though. This is a dragon.
I know, I was just making a joke. You'd make it
Oh.
weird.
I thought you were talking about that witch I fought earlier.
No! The one with the mommy complex.
Yeah. She was hot.
What happened?
He fought a lady who desperately wanted him to be her baby boy.
Okay then.
I'd have gave in.
I know you would have in a fucking heartbeat. You're only good enough to be my son. Yes, mother, you are correct. Okay, you ready?
Yep.
I gave myself a minute, just 1 minute, to kneel in the remnants of the entry hall. Then I eased to my feet, careful not to disturb any of the shattered glass or wood, or blood. There were spatters of it everywhere, along with small puddles and smears down the gouged walls. Another forest, I told myself, another set of tracks. Slowly, I moved across the floor, tracing the information left. It had been a vicious fight, and from the blood patterns, most of the damage to the house had been done during the fight, not afterward. The crushed glass and footprints came and went from the front and back of the house, as if the whole place had been surrounded. The intruders had needed to force their way in through the front door. They just completely shattered the doors to the garden. No bodies, I kept repeating to myself. There were no bodies, and not much gore. They had to be alive. Tamlin had to be alive. I've got a customer. Hold on. Oh, my kidney. Hello. You're fine.
I got a coupon or I got an email
Mm-hmm.
saying I got a $5 off.
What's that phone number?
It's 501.
I can see this is going to be hard. God damn. It was too high.
I am EP. I gotta be at Anna's at 8:30 tomorrow.
Okay.
Alright. They had to be alive. Tamlin had to be alive, because if he were dead... I rubbed my face, taking a shuddering breath. I wouldn't let myself get that far. My hand shook as I paused before the dining room doors, both barely hanging on to their hinges. I couldn't tell if the damage was from him lashing out after Rhysand's arrival the day before my departure, or if someone else had caused it. The giant table was in pieces, the windows smashed, the curtains in shreds. But no blood. There was no blood here. And from the prints and the shards of glass, I studied the trail across the floor. It had been disturbed, but I could make out two sets, large and side by side, leading from where the table had been, as if Tamlin and Lucien had been sitting in here as the attack happened and walked out without a fight. If I was right, then they were alive. I traced the steps to the doorway, squatting for a moment to work through the churned up shards, dirt and blood. They'd been met here by multiple sets of prints, and headed toward the garden. Debris crunched down to the hall. I drew my hunting knife and ducked farther into the dining room, scanning for a place to hide. But everything was in pieces. With no other option, I lunged behind the open door. I pressed a hand over my mouth to keep from breathing too loudly, and peered through the crack between the door and the wall. Something limped into the room and sniffed. I could only see its back, cloaked in a plain cape, medium height. All it had to do to find me was shut the door. Perhaps if it came far enough into the dining room, I could slip out, but that would require leaving my hiding spot. Perhaps it would just look around and then leave. The figure sniffed again, and my stomach clenched. It could smell me. I dared a better glance at it, hoping to find a weakness, a spot for my knife if things came down to it. The figure turned slightly toward me. I cried out, and the figure screeched as I shoved away the door. Alice! She gaped at me, a hand on her heart. Her usual brown dress torn and dirty, her apron gone entirely. Not bloodied, though, nothing save for the slight limp that favored her right ankle as she rushed for me. Her tree bark skin bleaching birch white. You can't be here. She took in my knife, the bow and quiver. You were told to stay away. Is he alive? Yes, but my knees buckled at the onslaught of relief. And Lucien? Alive as well, but... Tell me what happened. Tell me everything. I kept an eye on the window, listening to the manor and grounds around us. Not a sound. Alice grasped my arm and pulled me from the room. She didn't speak as we hurried through the empty, too quiet halls, all of them wrecked and bloodied, but no bodies. Either they'd been hauled away, or... I didn't let myself consider it as we entered the kitchen. The fire had scorched the giant room, and it was little more than the cinders and blackened stone. After sniffing about and listening for any signs of danger, Alice released me. What are you doing here? I had to come back. I thought something had gone wrong. I couldn't stay away. I had to help. He told you not to come back, Alice snapped. Where is he? Alice covered her face with her long, bony hands, her fingers grappling into the upper edge of her mask as if trying to tear it from her face. But the mask remained, and Alice sighed as she lowered her tree bark hands. She took him, she said, and my blood went cold. She took him to her court under the mountain. Who? But I already knew the answer. Amarantha, Alice whispered, and glanced around the kitchen as if fearful that speaking her name would summon her. Why? And who is she? What is she? Please, please just tell me. Just give me the truth. Alice shuddered. You want the truth, girl? Then here it is. She took him for the curse, because the 7 times 7 years were over, and he hadn't shattered her curse. She summoned all the High Lords to her court this time, to make them watch her break him. What is she? What curse? A curse. The curse she had put on this place, a curse that I had failed to even see. Amarantha is High Queen of this land, the High Queen of Prythian. Alice breathed, her eyes wide with some memory of horror. But the 7 High Lords rule Prythian equally. There's no High Queen. That's how it used to be, how it's always been, until 100 years ago when she appeared in these lands as an emissary from Hybern. Alice grabbed a large satchel that she must have left by the door. It was already half full of what looked like clothes and supplies. As she began sifting through the ruined kitchen, gathering up knives and any food that had survived, I wondered at the information the Suriel had given me, of a wicked fairy king who had spent centuries resenting the treaty he'd been forced to sign, and who had sent out his deadliest commanders to infiltrate the other fairy kingdoms and courts to see if they felt as he did, to see if they might consider reclaiming the human lands for themselves. I leaned against one of the soot-stained walls. She went from court to court, Alice went on, turning an apple over in her hands as she inspected it, deemed it good enough, and stuffed it into the bag, charming the High Lords with talk of more trade between Hybern and Prythian, more communication, more sharing of assets. The never-fading flower, they called her, and for 50 years she lived here as a courtier bound to no court, making amends, she claimed, for her own actions and the actions of Hybern during the war. She fought in the war against mortals. Alice paused her gathering. Her story is legend among our kind, legend and a nightmare. She was the king of Hybern's most lethal general. She fought on the front lines, slaughtering humans and any high fae and fairies who dared defend them. But she had a younger sister, Clythia, who fought at her side, as vicious and wretched as she, until Clythia fell in love with a mortal warrior, Jurian. Alice loosed a shaking sigh. Jurian commanded mighty human armies, but Clythia secretly sought him out, still loved him with an unrelenting madness. She was too blind to realize that Jurian was using her for information about Amarantha's forces. Amarantha suspected, but could not persuade Clythia to leave him, and could not bring herself to kill him, not when it would cause her sister such pain. Alice clicked her tongue and began opening the cabinets, scanning their ravaged insides. Amarantha delighted in torture and killing, and yet she loved her sister enough to stay her hand. What happened? I breathed. Oh, Jurian betrayed Clythia. After months of stomaching being her lover, he got the information he needed, then tortured and butchered her, crucifying her with ash wood so she wouldn't move while he did it. He left the pieces of her for Amarantha to find. They say Amarantha's wrath could have brought down the skies themselves had her king not ordered her to stand down. But she and Jurian had their final confrontation later, and since then Amarantha has hated humans with a rage you cannot imagine. Alice found what looked to be a jar of preserves and added it to the satchel. After the two sides made the treaty, Alice said, now going through the drawers, she butchered her own slaves rather than free them. I blanched, but centuries later, the High Lords believed her when she told them that the death of her sister had changed her, especially when she opened trade lines between our two territories. The High Lords never knew that those same ships that brought over Hibernian goods had also brought over her own personal forces. The King of Hybern didn't know either, but we all soon learned that, in those 50 years she was here, she had decided she wanted Prythian for her own, to begin amassing power and use our lands as a launching point to one day destroy your world once and for all, with or without her king's blessing. So 49 years ago, she struck. She knew that even with her personal army, she could never conquer the 7 High Lords by numbers or powers alone. But she was also cunning and cruel, and she waited until they absolutely trusted her.
Yeah,
Are
baby.
you okay?
Yes.
Gary, do you mind if I read?
I don't think Gary cares.
Do you want me to stop reading? Because you don't sound like you're into this.
Yeah, it's fine, babe.
She knew that even with her personal army, she could never conquer the 7 High Lords by numbers or power alone. But she was also cunning and cruel, and she waited until they absolutely trusted her, until they gathered at a ball in her honor. And that night she slipped a potion stolen from the King of Hybern's unholy spellbook into their wine. Once they drank, the High Lords were prone, their magic laid bare, and she stole their powers from where they originated inside their bodies, plucked them out as if she were taking an apple from its branch, leaving them with only the basest elements of their magic. Your Tamlin, what you saw of him here, was a shade of what he used to be, the power that he used to command. And with the High Lord's power so greatly decreased, Amarantha wrested control of Prythian from them in a matter of days. For 49 years we have been her slaves. For 49 years she has been biding her time, waiting for the right moment to break the treaty and take your lands and all human territories beyond it. I wished they were a stool a bench, a chair for me to slump onto. Alice slammed shut the final drawer and limped for the pantry. Now they call her the Deceiver, she who trapped the 7 High Lords and built her palace beneath the sacred mountain in the heart of our land. Alice paused before the pantry door and covered her face again, taking a few steadying breaths. The sacred mountain, that bald, monstrous peak I'd spotted in the mural in the library all those months ago. But the sickness in the lands, Tamlin said that the blight took their power. She is the sickness in these lands, Alice snapped, lowering her hands and entering the pantry. There is no blight but her. The borders were collapsing because she laid them to rubble. She found it amusing to send her creatures to attack our lands, to test whatever strength Tamlin had left. If the blight was Amarantha, then the threat to the human realm, she was the threat to the human realm. Alice emerged from the pantry, her arms full of various root vegetables. You could have been the one to stop her. Her eyes were hard upon me and she bared her teeth. They were alarmingly sharp. She shoved the turnips and beets into the bag. You could have been the one to free him and his power had you not been so blind to your own heart. Humans, she spat. I lifted my hands, exposing my palms to her. I didn't know. You couldn't know, Alice said bitterly, her laugh harsh as she entered the pantry again. It was part of Tamlin's curse. My head swam and I pressed myself further against the wall. What was... I fought the rising hitch in my voice. What was his curse? What did she do to him? Alice yanked remaining spice jars off the pantry shelf. Tamlin and Amarantha knew each other before. His family had long been tied to Hybern. During the war, the Spring Court allied with Hybern to keep the humans enslaved. So his father, who was a fickle and vicious lord, was very close with the king of Hybern, to Amarantha. Tamlin, as a child, often accompanied him on trips to Hybern, and he met Amarantha in the process. Tamlin had once said to me that he would fight to protect someone's freedom, that he would never allow slavery. Had it been solely because of shame for his own legacy, or because he'd come to somehow know what it was to be enslaved? Amarantha eventually grew to desire Tamlin, to lust for him with her entire wicked heart. But he'd heard the stories from others about the war, and knew what Amarantha and his father and the Hybern king had done to fairies and humans alike, what she did to Jurian as punishment for her sister's death. He was very wary of her when she came here, despite her attempts to lure him into bed, and kept his distance, right up until she stole his powers. Lucian was sent to her as Tamlin's emissary, to try to treat for peace between them. Bile rose in my throat. She refused, and Lucian told her to go back to the shithole she'd crawled out of. She took his eye as punishment, carved it out with her own fingernail, and then scarred his face. She sent him back so bloody that Tamlin, the High Lord, vomited when he saw his friend. I couldn't let myself imagine what state Lucian had been in then, if it had made Tamlin sick. Alice tapped on her mask, the metal pinging beneath her nails. After that, she hosted a masquerade under the mountain for herself. All the courts were present, a party, she said, to make amends for what she'd done to Lucian, and a masquerade so he didn't have to reveal the horrible scarring on his face. The entire Spring Court was to attend, even servants, and to wear masks, to honor Tamlin's shape-shifting powers, she said. He was willing to try to end the conflict without slaughter, and he agreed to go, to bring all of us. I pressed my hands against the stone wall behind me, savoring its coolness, its steadiness. Pausing in the center of the kitchen, Alice sat down her satchel, now full of food and supplies. When all were assembled, she claimed that peace could be had, if Tamlin joined her as her lover and consort. But when she tried to touch him, he refused to let her near, not after what she'd done to Lucian. He said, in front of everyone that night, that he would sooner take a human to his bed, sooner marry a human, than ever touch her. She might have let it go, had he not said that her own sister had preferred a human's company to hers, that her own sister had chosen Jurian over her. I winced, already knowing what Alice would say as she braced her hands on her hips and went on. You can guess how well that went over with Amarantha. But she told Tamlin that she was in a generous mood. Told him she'd give him a chance to break the spell she'd put upon him to steal his power. He spat in her face and she laughed. She said he had 7 times 7 years before she claimed him, before he had to join her under the mountain. If he wanted to break her curse, he need only find a human girl willing to marry him. But not any girl. A human with ice in her heart, with hatred for our kind. A human girl willing to kill a fairy. The ground rocked beneath me, and I was grateful for the wall I leaned against. Worse, the fairy she killed had to be one of his men, sent across the wall by him like lambs to a slaughter. The girl could only be brought here to be courted if she killed one of his men in an unprovoked attack. Killed him for hatred alone, just as Jurian had done to Clythia, so he could understand her sister's pain. The treaty, that was all a lie. There was no provision for that in the treaty. You can kill as many innocent fairies as you want and never suffer the consequences. You just killed Andrus, sent out by Tamlin as that day's sacrifice. Andrus was looking for a cure, Tamlin had said. Not for some magical blight, but a cure to save Prythian from Amarantha, a cure for this curse. The wolf, Andrus had just stared at me before I killed him. Let me kill him. So it could begin this chain of events, so that Tamlin might stand a chance of breaking the spell. And if Tamlin had sent Andrus across the wall, knowing he might very well die, oh, Tamlin. Alice stooped to gather up a butter knife, twisted and bent, and carefully straightened out the blade. It was all a cruel joke, a clever punishment to Amarantha. You humans loathe and fear fairies so much it would be impossible for the same girl who slaughtered a fairy in cold blood to then fall in love with one. But the spell on Tamlin could only be broken if she did just that before the 49 years were over. If that girl said to his face that she loved him and meant it with her entire heart. Hold on.
God
Amarantha
damn,
knows
that was
humans.
stupid. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I was trying to mount a fucking dragon so I could be able to call it later, but trying to get onto the fucking dragon was ridiculously hard.
Amarantha knows humans are preoccupied with beauty, and thus bound the masks to all our faces, to his face, so it would be more difficult to find a girl willing to look beyond the mask, beyond his fairy nature, and to the soul beneath. Then she bound us so we couldn't say a
Is
word
it
about the
okay if I
wolf.
drink while we do this, babe?
I don't
I've
care.
had one glass, but
I don't care.
okay.
Not a single word. We could hardly tell you a thing about our world, about our fate. He couldn't tell you. None of us properly could. The lies about the blight, that was the best he could do, the best we could all do. That I can tell you now, it means the game is over, to her. She pocketed the knife. When she first cursed him, Tamlin sent one of his men across the wall every day. To the woods, to farms, all disguised as wolves to make it more likely for one of your kind to want to kill them. If they came back, it was with stories of human girls who ran and screamed and begged, who didn't even lift a hand. When they didn't come back, Tamlin's bond with them as their lord and master told them they'd been killed by others. Human hunters, older women perhaps. For 2 years he had sent them out, day after day, having to pick who crossed the wall. When all but a dozen of them were left, it broke him so badly he stopped, called it all off, and since then Tamlin has been here, defending his borders as chaos and disorder ruled in other courts under Amarantha's thumb. The other High Lords fought back too. Okay. 40 years ago she executed 3 of them and most of their families for banding together against her. Open rebellion? What courts? I straightened, taking a step away from the wall. Perhaps I might find some allies among them to help me save Tamlin. The day court, summer court, and winter court. And no, it didn't even get far enough to be considered an open rebellion. She used the High Lord's powers to bind us to the land. So the rebel lords tried calling for aid from the other Fey territories using as messengers whatever humans were fool enough to enter our lands, most of them young women who worship us like gods, the children of the blessed. They had indeed made it over the wall, but not to be brides. I was too battered by what I'd heard to grieve for them, rage for them. But Amarantha caught them before they left these shores, and you can imagine how it ended for those girls. Afterward, once Amarantha also butchered the rebellious High Lords. Their successors were too terrified to tempt her wrath again. And where are they now? Are they allowed to live on their lands like Tamlin was? No, she keeps them and their entire courts under the mountain, where she can torment them as she pleases. Others, if they swear allegiance, if they grovel and serve her, she allows them a bit more freedom to come and go under the mountain as they will. Our court was only allowed to remain here until Tamlin's curse ran out, but Alice shivered. That's why you keep your nephews in hiding, to keep them away from this, I said, glancing at the full satchel at her feet. Alice nodded, and as she went right to the overturned work table, I moved to help her, both of us grunting at the weight. My sister and I served in the summer court, and she and her mate were among those put down for spite when Amarantha first invaded. I took the boys and ran before Amarantha had everyone dragged under the mountain. I came here
Hold
because it
on,
was the only
cutscene.
place to...
Rekindle the light once more. Stranger, do you see things as I do?
Even lanterns cast shadows. Not everything can be resolved with strength.
Ideals without strength are nothing but meaningless fantasies. The world listens only to the voices of the strong. The words of the weak never carry far. You'd be wise to heed my words.
Okay. Do you hear me?
Yeah, I'm trying to find where I was.
Sorry.
I came here because it was the only place to go, and asked Tamlin to hide my voice. He did, and when I begged him to let me help, in whatever small way, he gave me a position here, days before the mask that put this wretched thing on my face. So I've been here for nearly 50 years, watching as Amarantha's noose grew tighter around his neck.
Hold on, wait, stop. The curse was 7 years.
7 times 7.
Okay, sorry, I misunderstood. I thought you said 7 score.
No.
I was going to say, that
7.
is not 50.
No, it's 49.
Okay.
It's been 49 years.
No, I get it now. I misunderstood. I could have swore you said 7.
No.
Because that is much different than 50 years.
Yep. We set the table upright again, and both of us panted a bit as we slumped against it. He tried, Alice said. Even with her spies, he tried finding ways to break the curse, to do anything against it, against having to send his men out again to be slaughtered by humans.
So Amaranthi is just the general of the king of the elves?
The king of the fairies.
And the king of the elves... the king of the fairies doesn't live there. He lives on a different continent?
He's not the king. Yes, because he is not the king of the fairies. He is just a king of fairies. Prithian, the land that they are in, is ruled by 7 high lords.
Okay, so they're basically like Skyrim to Cyrodiil. They're in a different land.
Yes. So when you look at a map of Prithian, baby, the map of Prithian is Ireland.
Okay.
Has left the temple in ruins. I hope you understand.
So, like, I don't know what the other surrounding countries
No, you're
are,
fine.
but, like, basically the UK would be fucking Highburn. Or not UK, but England.
Are they separated by an ocean?
Highburn, yes. Highburn
Okay,
is
so
separated by an ocean.
it would be like the UK to the US.
Yes.
Would you be so kind as to check if they remain untouched?
All right.
So they all came here. Okay, so it's like a romanticized version of fucking the Lord of the Rings. They came across the Great Ocean.
Yeah. Prior to...
Were the humans there first and they enslaved them?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know the history of Prithian to that point.
Oh, I figured they would have talked about it.
she's still writing books for it, and there are 2 more set to come out, at least one in October and then one I think in January, so maybe more will be explained, but like you get little tidbits of history throughout all books. That is one that if it has been explained, I do not remember it, but since the dawn of Prithian, humans were enslaved by fairies,
Okay.
and 500 years ago Hybern and his allies and the non-enslaving fairies of Prithian, because there were High Lords in Prithian that were actively wanting to enslave the humans, went to war. And it just happened to be
Do the
that
humans in this world not have magic?
you have to read the rest of the books. I'm not getting into that.
So that question is answered later?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm...
No, you're fine. It's fine that you have questions. I will explain what I can without spoiling anything.
Because it seems like this book is describing humans as dumb brutes.
No, it's not. They're a very new society, because prior to being this society that they are now, they were literally cattle. So they don't they don't have holidays. They don't have, like, they have nobility and things like that, but their scholars are still very new, and they're also very anti-fairy, anti-magic, that kind of thing, because that generational trauma is still, in the grand scheme of things, very, very fresh. So they just have not progressed to the point of having an elegant society, for lack of a better term. They are very rugged.
Okay.
And again, there is nobility, there is beauty, there is queens and things like that. It is just, it is very much, it's very much how we do. Like, there are artists and things like that, but it's very similar. But compared to fairies, it's non-comparable. Hello? What can I help you find today, darling? Alrighty, what kind? Yes. 30 or 50. What else for you? Alright. Ready?
Yeah.
Hold on, I speak.
Speak.
Hold on, god damn it.
I think I just may have fucked up my entire quest line.
Why do you
Oh, you gotta be fucking kidding me.
why?
If you're watching, the hand that just sank into the ocean, I have to attach to a statue at the top of a mountain. I am at the bottom of a mountain. And the hand that just sank into the ocean, I have to attach to a statue at the top of the mountain.
I mean, maybe if you walk away long enough, give it a few days, it'll reset. So you just did it again?
I didn't do anything.
I just watched you drop another hand.
That was the first hand. That was the only hand.
Oh, okay. Okay. Give me a second. I'm gonna leave the party because I got disconnected from my headphones.
Okay. Gary, are you there? Gary.
Yes, I'm here.
Faggot.
Douchebag.
Dorkinator.
What the fuck, dude?
Is the headphones not working or something now, baby? Oh, she left. I am working on my 8th shot of rum.
Why?
Because it's my off day and I haven't drank in a while and I'm fucking depressed and I want to drink.
Yeah, that's fair.
You drink coffee, I drink rum.
I actually don't have any creamer, so I haven't had coffee in like 3 days.
I haven't had rum in like 2 weeks, so there you go.
There we go. I'm about to have another fucking customer.
Okay.
Hello. Thank you. I just brewed some coffee. Caffeinated. If I didn't have a long day, I wouldn't be.
I need a pipe and some little screens.
You prefer glass pipes, metal pipe, wooden pipe, silicone pipe? Okay.
I don't know the difference.
It's mostly just preference. Silicone, of course, breaks not at all. There's a little glass bowl in it, so if you still like the I guess taste of a glass pipe, we've still got those. That way you can just kind of oops bounce and not have to spend another $10 on a new pipe. Glass, in my opinion, is a little bit easier to clean, depending on how you're doing it. And then wood is just that's a matter of taste and personal preference, how classy you want to be. I personally use a glass pipe just because I like the classics.
Cause you a bitch.
I don't know how I was cleaning the hole.
Oh, those holes are super thin, like the bowl parts, because I do it all the time. I'll go to scrape it out or whatever, push it a little bit too hard, and in it goes. I'm like, well, darn it. Yes.
Did I smoke? I mean, because I don't smoke, I just a little at night before I go to bed. Thought I should have.
Just where the part they carve out that hole, basically, it's just real thin right there.
Alright, so he bought me a little bitty pipe last night.
So my little bitty ones are going to be right down here. Those are also my cheapest, $5.99, between 5 and 10, right in that area, that bottom right or left corner.
Mute yourself, honey, when you get a chance.
What color was it? Oh, okay.
I don't know where he bought it.
Oh, that's valid. That's valid.
Just looking because they're all cool looking.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, I've got a $500 one over there. This one is my hand-blown baby. This is super nice. It's made by a local, or it was made by a local artist. Gorgeous. Worth the $500. I just don't have that.
Same.
Nope, it's a water pipe essentially. It's a hand pipe as well, but you can put water in it. It's a bubbler.
Same.
Okay. Well, Cool. Alright, well, how about what are these? How much are these?
Those are still 54. They're going to start cheap down here at the bottom and then work my way up because all of my cheap ones are take up the most space.
Okay. Yeah, it makes me wonder, because it's was just my neighbor that bought
Mhm.
it.
There's no telling.
Gosh.
Hi, Papa.
One sitting on top.
That
Hi,
one I
Papa.
believe is 9.99. No, I just
Daddy
never.
is drunk.
Yes, this one is 9.99.
Same as this one.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's just what color and how it feels in your hand. I think that red one
Oh,
has a
lovely.
slightly bigger bowl in it, slightly deeper.
Oh, lovely.
All I do is smoke.
Hmm.
Just a pinch at a time.
Right.
Wow,
If
I got
I
drunk
do
as
the
fuck
same
real
thing,
fast.
I get one of those little 5.99 ones. I think that one would be better for that than that one because that one's got like a double what I would smoke.
Yeah. Say, all I need is just one
Oh, yeah, lovely.
teeny tiny bit.
Oh, yeah, lovely.
Percent. Sorry, I
I'm
don't
sorry.
want to get all up in your space.
Oh, boy.
Oh,
Oh, boy.
cute. Would that just be right?
That's about that size that I smoke at night.
Okay.
Hmm.
And I probably wouldn't even fill it all the way up.
Right. I've got 6 ruptured discs, brain tumor, knee surgery, the whole 9 yards. So I gotta take it.
Okay.
Hmm.
It's right here.
Mine's on my pituitary gland.
Mine's inside my brain, but they call it a
Oh, I'm a meningitis.
meningitis.
I can't either. I know what you're talking about though. Mine was, oh, what was it called? Ma no, they did surgery on it a couple of years ago, so it was a macro angioma or something like that. Now it's a micro. It's a little bit smaller. And I'm on chemotherapy to keep shrinking. So we're working on it. But yes, that's about the size I spoke so that I could get off some of my medications, and I did that.
We're really using
Hmm.
it. Okay, so do we have a little spoon for this?
Absolutely.
And all tobacco alcohol.
Right.
Real fun. We like chopsticks.
Hmm. See, I use my grinder really needs to be cleaned up because it's not. I do. Yeah, I got one of these.
Kitchen plate,
Right.
plate, I'm sitting here chopping it.
We got ours when Sweet 443 first opened several years ago. They were giving them out, and that's the one I still use. All right, can I borrow that pipe real fast? Let me size this. No, you're fine. Perfect. 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 They're 10 for $1. How many you need, darling? Alrighty. Mm-hmm. I've had a couple of them. Plus, a lot of them were avoiding that storm this morning. No, we used to, but they banned the stuff that we could sell last year. So now you have to have a medical card and go to a dispensary. Mm-hmm. So they tell you it's because they didn't trust the things we were selling. But the things we were selling, the only difference between Delta 8 and the stuff you get at the dispensary is 4 weeks grow time. The real reason is because there's money in medical marijuana. Mm-hmm. Alrighty.
I'm drunk AF. Fuck.
I will do my best. 2 cups of coffee, I'm good for a couple hours.
Papa. Papa.
Yes, ma'am. You have a good one.
Papa. Oh, Papa. Papa.
Those are for dabs, which is just concentrated.
Oh, no, Papa.
Right. Thank you.
Papa.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if I'm getting a kidney infection or a kidney stone, but somebody is punching me in my ribs, and I wish they would
Oh,
stop.
Papa. Oh, Papa.
You hear me, babe?
Yeah, you said you had kidney infection.
That's not what I said, but okay.
You think somebody's punching you in your kidney and you wish they would stop?
Yes.
Sorry, Hendam. I got this puppo.
It's just as dumb.
It was just dumb. Oh, yeah. Him is the dumbest of dumbs. Oh, the dumbest.
Oh, that coffee smells good.
Smile! Mm. Oh, what the heck? Oh, shit, I dropped my phone.
Hello? Let me put this down. What was it? Oh.
Come on back, Papa. No, come over here,
No,
Papa.
ma'am.
Come over here, Papa.
You have your screen still?
Papa. 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 Oh, Papa. Oh, Papa. I got Papa. Hi, Papa. Hi, Papa.
It's not over here.
Hi, Papa. I know, Papa.
I promise I just handed it to you because it was with the screens.
I know, Papa.
That sounds like something I would do. Oh, good. Oh, good. I was afraid I was crazy too.
I have to go
Right.
pee. I will be right back.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I was just cleaning it out. Mm-hmm. I'm telling you, when they did the first surgery, I lost about half the brain I was born with.
They said mine is by where my liver is.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yep.
I can't.
My husband will be telling me something, and I'm like, honey, what year did this happen? 2009. I'm like, oh, you mean before my brain surgery? It didn't happen. I don't know what to tell you.
Okay. Oh, I should have remembered that. That spot that
Hmm.
now the movie I was in those days.
I love that movie.
Yes, I watched it a million times. So I'm always saying, that's me, 10 seconds off.
I remember him.
That's like, I make 10 seconds off.
Yes, ma'am. You're fine, dear. Have a good one. You're making dinner tonight, right, babe? Bitch. Oh. Babe. Let me know when you get back on, babe.
Okay, I'm back. Sorry.
You're good.
I had to pee, and then I checked on the kid, and I made a pack of hot dogs.
You've got
Puppy.
dinner tonight, right?
Yeah.
That's
Puppy,
cool.
please don't sit on my phone. Uh, what did I pull out? Stuffing, corn, pasta, and chicken.
Okay.
I'm gonna stop drinking here in about 10 minutes so I can sober up before 8 o'clock.
Why?
Do you want me to cook dinner drunk?
Are you drunk?
Yes.
How much have you fucking drank? You just
Uh,
started drinking.
I'm working on shot number 8.
Jesus Christ, babe.
What?
You've been drinking for like an hour.
Yes. And I have committed no crimes. I think that is an accomplishment. And that is based on the fact that many people who drink also commit crimes in the time that they drink.
Should I stop reading?
No.
Are you able to pay attention?
Yes. She is finding out that everything she knew about the courts is a lie. There is no blight.
But the inconspicuous appearance of
The White House got shot up again.
The lighthouse? We have a
The
lighthouse?
White, the White
Oh, the
House, you
White
fucking
House.
lush.
How did the White House get shot up? Wait, what do you mean again? I thought the other shooting was at a hotel.
In the vicinity, just on the
Oh.
lawn.
What happened?
Yep, there were shots fired next to the White House. Several reporters were there when it went off. It honestly sounded like an automatic weapon. But again, I'm just speculating. I just watched the video of a reporter and you could hear the guns going off.
It
And you
could have
know
been a
how a
bump stock.
semi, you're absolutely right, but you know how a semi-auto, you can tell there's like it's not uniform in pulling the trigger rapidly. It's not a uniform time between each
Yeah.
bullet, but there is a uniformity in a. Hello. What can I help you find today, darling?
Okay.
Well, there you go. Thank you. All right. I'm gonna start reading. Okay.
Okay. If you have the money for a dollar 2 liter of Dr. Thunder or Mountain Lightning, can you bring it home?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
You have a customer?
No,
Oh, well, you said you were going to read and then you said, no, I'm not.
because you were talking.
Oh, sorry.
Okay. Where was I? Hold on.
Sorry.
Hello. What can I?
There's so much to be mended.
Which flavor? 03. Just one?
Is there a discount for two?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
You have a loyalty account with us.
I think so.
What's that phone number?
501 622 86.
You have enough points for $2 off?
You're back.
$19.92,
How are the
David. Hit that
statues?
orange button on the touchscreen and then the right
All
green button.
restored.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Oh, that's a weight
Yeah.
off my shoulders.
And then you can tap right back here.
I ran into someone. We're
So you've met him.
Need your receipt?
The reason the temple
Alrighty,
is
you're
in
good to go.
ruins. He abandoned enlightenment to pursue strength.
Aye, he attacked me when I doubted him.
And you walked away unharmed. You should try out our training course. Seek
He thought that if
enlightenment
the human
and
girl
help
loved
us
True,
guide him
then
back to
bringing
the
her
right
here to
path.
free him was another form of slavery. And he thought that if he
I'll see
indeed
what I can
fall
do.
in love with her, Amarantha would do everything she could to destroy her, as her sister had been destroyed. So he spent decades refusing to do it, to even risk it. But this winter, with months to go, he just snapped. He sent the last of his men out one by one. And they were willing. They had begged him to go all these years. Tamlin was desperate to save his people, desperate enough to risk the lives of his men, risk that human girl's life to save us. 3 days in, Andrus finally ran into a human girl in a clearing, and you killed him with hate in your heart. But I had failed them, and in doing so I damned them all. I had damned each and every person in this estate, damned Prithian itself. I was glad I was leaning against the table's edge, or else I might have slid to the floor. You could have broken it, Alice snarled, those sharp teeth mere inches from my face. All you had to do was say that you loved him. Say that you loved him and mean it with your whole useless human heart, and his power would have been freed. You stupid, stupid girl. No wonder Lucian had resented me, and yet still tolerated my presence. No wonder he'd been so bitterly disappointed when I left, had argued with Tamlin to let me stay longer. I'm sorry, I said, my eyes burning. Alice snorted. Tell that to Tamlin. He had only 3 days after you left before the 49 years were over. 3 days, and he let you go. She came here with her cronies at the exact moment the 7 times 7 years were over and seized him, along with most of the court, and brought them under the mountain to be her subjects. Creatures like me are too lowly for her, though she's not above murdering us for sport. I tried not to visualize it. But what of the King of Hybern? If she's conquered Prythian for herself and stolen his spells, then does he see her as an insubordinate or as an ally? If they're on bad terms, he has made no move to punish her. For 49 years now, she's held these lands in her grip. Worse, after the High Lords fell, all the wicked ones in our lands, the ones too awful even for the Night Court, flocked to her. They still do. She's offered them sanctuary. But we know she's building her army, biding her time before launching an attack on your world, armed with the most lethal and vicious fairies in Prythian and Hybern. Like the adder, I said, horror and dread twisting in my gut, and Alice nodded. In the human territory, I said, rumor claims more and more fairies have been sneaking over the wall to attack humans. And if no fairies can cross the wall without her permission, then that has to mean she's been sanctioning those attacks. And if I was right about what had happened to Claire Bedore and her family, then Amarantha had given that order for too. Hold on. Oh, fuck. Alice swiped some dirt I couldn't see from the table we leaned against. I would not be surprised if she has sent her minions into the human realm to investigate your strengths and weaknesses in anticipation of the destruction she one day hopes to cause. This was worse, so much worse than I had thought when I had warned Nesta and my family to stay on alert and leave at the slightest sign of trouble. I felt sick to think of what kind of company Tamlin was keeping, sick at the thought of him being so desperate, so stricken by guilt and grief over having to sacrifice his centuries and never being able to tell me. And he'd let me go, let all of their sacrifices, let Andrus's sacrifice be in vain. He'd known that if I remained, I would be at risk of Amarantha's wrath, even if I freed him. I can't even protect myself against them, against what's happening in Prythian. Even if we stood against the Blight, they would hunt you down. She would find a way to kill you. I remembered that pathetic effort to flatter me upon my arrival, and then he'd given up on it, any attempt to win me when I'd seemed so desperate to get away, to never talk to him. But he'd fallen in love with me despite all that, known I loved him, and let me go with days to spare. He had put me before his entire court, before all of Prythian. If Tamlin were freed, if he had his full powers, I said, staring at a blackened bit of wall, would he be able to destroy Amarantha? I don't know. She tricked the High Lords through cunning, not force. Magic's a specific kind of thing. It likes rules, and she manipulated them too well. She keeps their powers locked up inside herself, as if she can't use them or can access very little of them at least. She has her own deadly powers, yes, so if it came down to a fight... But is he stronger? I started, wringing my hands. He's a High Lord, Alice replied, as if that were answer enough. But none of that matters now. He's to be her slave, and we're all to wear these masks until he agrees to become her lover. Even then, he'll never regain his full powers, and she'll never let those under the mountain go. I pushed off the table and squared my shoulders. How do I get under the mountain? She clicked her tongue. You can't go under the mountain. No human who goes in ever comes out. I squeezed my fist so hard that my nails bit into my flesh. How do I get there? It's suicide. She'll kill you, even if you get close enough to see her. Amarantha had tricked him, had hurt him so badly, hurt them all so badly. You're a human, Alice went on, standing as well. Your flesh is paper thin. Amarantha must have also taken Lucian. She had carved out Lucian's eye and scarred him like that. Did his mother grieve for him? You were too blind to see Tamlin's curse, Alice continued. How do you expect to face Amarantha? You'll make things worse. Amarantha had taken everything I wanted, everything I finally dared desire. Show me the way, I said, my voice trembling, but not with tears. No, Alice slung her satchel over her shoulder. Go home. I'll take you as far as the wall. There's naught to be done now. Tamlin will remain her slave forever, and Prythian will stay under her rule. That's what fate dealt. That was what the eddies of the cauldron decided. I don't believe in fate, nor do I believe in some ridiculous cauldron. She shook her head again, her wild brown hair like glistening mud in the dim light. Take me to her, I insisted. If Amarantha ripped out my throat, at least I would die doing something for him. At least I would die trying to fix the destruction I hadn't prevented, trying to save the people I doomed. At least Tamlin would know it was for him and that I loved him. Alice studied me for a moment before her eyes softened. As you wish. I might have been going to my death, but I wouldn't arrive unarmed. I tightened the strap of the quiver across my chest, and then grazed my fingers over the arrow feathers peeking over my shoulder. Of course, there were no ash arrows, but I would make do with what I'd found scattered throughout the manor. I could have taken more, but weapons would only weigh me down, and I didn't know how to use most of them anyway. So I wore a full quiver, 2 daggers at my waist, and a bow slung over a shoulder. Better than nothing, even if I was up against fairies who had been born knowing how to kill. Alice led me through the silent woods and foothills, pausing every so often to listen, to alter our course. I didn't want to know what she heard or smelled out there, not when such stillness blanketed the lands. Stay with the High Lord, the Suriel had said. Stay with him, fall in love with him, and all would be righted. If I had stayed, if I had admitted what I'd felt, none of this would have happened. The world steadily filled with night, and my legs ached from the steep slopes of the hills, but Alice pressed on, never once looking back to see that I followed. I was beginning to wonder whether I should have brought more than a day's worth of food when she stopped in the hollow between 2 hills. The air was cold, far colder than the air at the top of the hill, and I shivered as my eyes fell upon a slender cave mouth. There was no way this was the entrance, not when that mural had painted under the mountain to be the center of Prithian. It was weeks of travel away. All dark and miserable roads lead under the mountain, Alice said, so quietly that her voice was nothing more than the rustling of leaves. She pointed to the cave. It's an ancient shortcut, once considered sacred, but no more. This was the cave Lucian had ordered the adder not to use that day. I tried to master my trembling. I loved Tamlin, and I would go to the ends of the earth to make it right, to save him. But if Amarantha was worse than the adder, if the adder wasn't the wickedest of her cronies, if even Tamlin had been scared of her, I reckon you're regretting your hot-headedness right now. I straightened. I will free him. You'll be lucky if she gives you a clean death. You'll be lucky if you even get brought before her. I must have turned pale because she pursed her lips and patted me on the shoulder. A few rules to remember, girl, she said, and we both stared at the cave mouth. The darkness reeked from its maw to poison the fresh night air. Don't drink the wine. It's not like what we had at the solstice, and will do more harm than good. Don't make deals with anyone unless your life depends on it, and even then consider whether it's worth it. And most of all, don't trust a soul in there, not even your Tamlin. Your senses are your greatest enemies. They will be waiting to betray you. I fought the urge to touch one of my daggers and nodded my thanks instead. Do you have a plan? No, I admitted. Don't expect that steel to do you any good, she said with a glance at my weapons. I don't. I faced her, biting the inside of my lip. There was one part of the curse, one part we can't tell you. Even now, my bones are crying out just for mentioning it. One part you have to figure out on your own. One part she swallowed loudly. That she still doesn't want you to know if I can't say it, she gasped out. But keep your ears open, girl. Listen to what you hear. I touched her arm. I will. Thank you for bringing me. For wasting precious hours when that satchel of supplies, for herself, for her boys, said enough about where she was going. It's a rare day indeed when someone thanks you for bringing them to their death. If I thought about the danger too long, I might lose my nerve, Tamlin or no. She wasn't helping. I'll wish you luck nonetheless, Alice added. Once you retrieve them, if you and your nephews need somewhere to flee, I said, cross the wall. Go to my family's house. I told her the location. Ask for Nesta, my eldest sister. She knows who you are, knows everything. She will shelter you in any way she can. Nesta would do it too. I knew now, even if Alice and her boys terrified her, she would keep them safe. Alice patted my hand. Stay alive, she said. I looked at her one last time, then at the night sky that was unfurling above us, and at the deep green of the hills, the color of Tamlin's eyes. I walked into the cave. The only sounds were my shallow breathing and the crunch of my boots on stone. Stumbling through the frigid dark, I inched onward. I kept close to the wall, and my hand soon turned numb as the cold, wet stone bit into my skin. I took small steps, fearful of some invisible pit that might send me tumbling to my doom. After what felt like an eternity, a crack of orange light cleaved through the dark, and then came the voices. Hissing and braying, eloquent and guttural, a cacophony bursting the silence like a firecracker. I pressed myself against the cave wall, but the sounds passed and faded. I crept toward the light, blinking back my blindness when I found the source, a slight fissure in the rock. It opened into a crudely carved, firelit, subterranean passageway. I lingered in the shadows, my heart wild in my chest. The crack in the cave wall was large enough for one person to squeeze through, so jagged and rough that it was obviously not often used. A glance at the dirt revealed no tracks, no sign of anyone else using this entrance. The hallway beyond was clear, but it veered off, obscuring my view. The passage was deathly quiet. Fuck. Hold on. But I remembered Alice's warning and didn't trust my ears, not when fairies could be silent as cats. Still, I had to leave this cave. Tamlin had been here for weeks already. I had to find where Amarantha kept him, and hopefully not run into anyone in the process. Killing animals in the Naga had been one thing, but killing any others... I took several deep breaths, bracing myself. It was the same as hunting. Only this time the animals were fairies, fairies who could torture me endlessly, torture me until I begged for death, torture me the way they tormented that summer court fairy whose wings had been ripped off. I didn't let myself think about those bleeding stumps as I eased toward the tiny opening, sucking in my stomach to squeeze through. My weapons scraped against the stone, and I winced at the hiss of falling pebbles. Keep moving, keep moving. Hurrying across the open hallway, I pressed into an alcove in the opposite wall. It didn't provide much cover. I slunk along the wall, pausing at the bend in the hall. This was a mistake. Only an idiot would come here. I could be anywhere in Amarantha's court. Alice should have given me more information. I should have been smart enough to ask, or smart enough to think of another way, any way but this. I risked a glance around the corner and almost sobbed in frustration. Another hallway carved out of the mountain's pale stone, lined on either side by torches. No shadowy spots for concealment, and at its other end my view was yet again obscured by a sharp turn. It was wide open. I was as good as a starving doe ripping bark off a tree in a clearing. But the halls were silent. The voices I'd heard earlier were gone. And if I heard anyone, I could sprint back to that cave mouth. I could do reconnaissance for a time, gather information, find out where Tamlin was. No. A second opportunity may not arise for a while. I had to act now. If I stopped for too long, I'd never work up the nerve again. I made to slip around the corner. Long, bony fingers wrapped around my arm, and I went rigid. A pointed, leathery gray face came into view, and its silver fangs glistened as it smiled at me. "Hello," it hissed. "What's something like you doing here?" I knew that voice. It still haunted my nightmares. So it was all I could do to keep from screaming as its bat-like ears cocked, and I realized that I stood before the adder. I have to go to the bathroom. Give me a second. You still there?
Yeah. I also have to pee. BRB. Okay, I'm back.
Welcome back.
Yep.
Hello. Which
The steady piece that the ball goes into.
Okay, do you know how long it was?
I have a picture of the part that the bow goes into that broke.
So that is necessary. The problem is that I have anywhere from 2.5 inches to 5 inches. And in this case, size very much does matter.
I could know it by looking at it.
Okay.
I could know
If you are confident in that, because our glass is non exchangeable, but if you are confident in that, otherwise, I recommend you bring in either A, your piece, or B, the broken piece.
This is the bold part. Snapped right
I'm going to
down the
assume
middle.
it's a 14. Is your bowl this size?
Yeah.
Perfect. So it is a 14. So in that case, most bongs are. Nope. Wrong side. It's a 2.5. I don't want a 2.5. Can I just have a standard one, please? Thank you. Most bongs are going to be around the 3 inch mark. Kind of depends on. That's the part that they're measuring.
That does look.
Oh no, yes, for sure this is a 14. It's the length of it that we have to worry about. Where are your bones at? This far wall over yonder.
Bones about that size ish. Actually, around there, more closer to the fruit one.
The fruit one? Okay. So it looks something like that?
Yep.
Alright, let's go measure this. I'll bet you this is a 4. Well, hell, I might have actually been right on the money. Excuse me. I was wrong. Still a 3. I was still right. It was right. It is too short. Why is this in here? Do you want it to be a thick piece like this or something like this?
I would
This will
prefer
fit.
it to be thicker, just so less chances of break. I don't
know how accurate that is. I break all these things. Watch my language. So the thick ones I have in the 14s are going to be like Pulsar branded, and they're colorful. That is the wrong size. That goes way down here. Yeah. So it's going to be something like this. This is about as thick as I can get in the 14s in a 3.
What's the price difference between the thicker ones and the thinner?
So this is $7.99. This is $9.99.
Let's do the $7.99. Little birthday card.
That one is tagged as 3. Mine might be a married woman, but I know the difference between 2 and 3. I got too many things in my pocket. Hold on. Oh, I'm dumb.
Those are so cute.
All my little dad tools. Let me go put this back in the thing or I will forget to immediately. Yeah, honestly, I use the dab tools just to scrape the resin out of my bowls.
Why do you do that?
So I don't know why they let me work here. Uh, this is gonna sound real gross. My husband got a mani pedi kit a couple of months ago, and in it is what is supposed to be a ingrown toenail digger. It's a dab tool.
Why he fancies himself a
Alright, can I
saint.
borrow your ID? Do you have a loyalty account with us?
No, I do not.
Stinking.
I don't
If you
have my
must
ID on me.
persist with
I
your
have
wicked
my birth
ways,
certificate for at this moment.
I can't use the birth certificate. I can use three
I
things:
will
state
set you
ID,
on the
driver's license, or passport.
That is
Listen to me.
problematic.
I'm so sorry.
I forgot to put that on.
I'm so sorry. If it helps, I'm open till 9 tonight.
Try to acquire my own.
Okay.
One needs power to realize one's ideals. Justice without power is but a hollow cry.
The adder kept its icy grip on my upper arm as it half dragged me to the throne room. I didn't bother to strip me of my weapons. We both knew they were of little use. Hamlin, Alice and her boys, my sisters, Lucian. I silently chanted their names again and again as the adder loomed above me. A demon of malice. Its leathery wings rustled occasionally, and had it been able to speak without screaming, I might have asked why it hadn't killed me outright. The adder just tugged me onward with that slithering gait, its clawed feet making leisurely scratches on the cave floor. It looked unnervingly identical to how I had painted it. Leering faces, cruel and harsh, watched me go by, none of them looking remotely concerned or disturbed that I was in the claws of the adder. Fairies, lots of them, but few high fae to be seen. We strode through two ancient, enormous stone doors, taller than Tamlin's Manor, and into a vast chamber carved from pale rock, upheld by countless carved pillars. That small part of me that had again become trivial and useless, noted that the carvings weren't just ornate designs, but actually depicted fairies and high fae and animals in various environments and states of movements. Countless stories of Prithian were etched on them. Chandeliers of jewels hung between the pillars, staining the red marble floor with color. Here were the high fae. An assembled crowd took up most of the space, some of them dancing to strange, off-kilter music, some milling about chatting. A party of sorts. I thought I spied some glittering masks among the attendees, but everything was a blur of sharp teeth and fine clothing. The adder hurled me forward, and the world spun. The cold marble floor was unyielding as I slammed into it, my bones groaning and barking. I pushed myself up, sparks dancing in my eyes, but stayed on the ground, kept low as I beheld the dais before me. A few steps led onto the platform. I lifted my head higher. There, lounging on a black throne, was Amarantha. Though lovely, she wasn't as devastatingly beautiful as I had imagined, wasn't some goddess of darkness and spite. It made her all the more petrifying. Her red gold hair was neatly braided and woven through her golden crown, the deep color enriching her snow-white skin, which, in turn, set off her ruby lips. But while her ebony eyes shone, there was something that sucked at her beauty, some kind of permanent sneer to her features that made her allure seem contrived and cold. To paint her would have driven me to madness. The highest commander of the King of Hybern. She'd slaughtered human armies centuries ago, had murdered her slaves rather than free them, and she'd captured all of Prithian in a matter of days. Then I looked to the black rock throne beside her, and my arms buckled beneath me. He was still wearing that golden mask, still wearing his warrior's clothes, that baldric, even though there were no knives sheathed along it, not a single weapon anywhere on him. His eyes didn't widen, his mouth didn't tighten, no claws, no fangs. He just stared at me, unfeeling, unmoved, unimpressed. "What's this?" Amarantha said, her voice lilting despite the adder's smile she gave me. From her slender, creamy neck hung a long, thin chain, and from it dangled a single, age-worn bone the size of a finger. I didn't want to consider whom it might have belonged to as I remained on the floor. If I shifted my arm, I could draw my dagger. "Just a human thing I found downstairs," the adder hissed, and a forked tongue darted out between its razor-sharp teeth. It flapped its wings once, blasting foul-smelling air at me, and then neatly tucked them behind its skeletal body. "Obviously," Amarantha purred. I avoided meeting her eyes, focusing on Tamlin's brown boots. He was 10 feet from me, 10 feet and not saying a word, not even looking horrified or angry. But why should I bother with her? The adder chuckled, the sound like sizzling water on a griddle, and a taloned foot jabbed my side. "Tell Her Majesty why you were sneaking around the catacombs, why you came out of the old cave that leads to the spring court." Would it be better to kill the adder or to try to make it to Amarantha? The adder kicked me again, and I winced as its claws bit into my ribs. "Tell Her Majesty, you human filth." I needed time. I needed to figure out my surroundings. If Tamlin was under some kind of spell, then I would have to worry about grabbing him. I eased to my feet, keeping my hands within casual reach of my daggers. I stared at Amarantha's glittering golden crown rather than meet her eyes. "I came to claim the one I love," I said quietly. "Perhaps the curse could still be broken." Again, I looked at him, and the sight of those emerald eyes was a balm. "Oh?" Amarantha said, leaning forward. "I've come to claim Tamlin, High Lord of the Spring Court." A gasp rippled through the assembled court, but Amarantha tipped back her head and laughed, a raven's caw. The High Queen turned to Tamlin, and her lips pulled back in a wicked smile. "You certainly were busy all of those years. Developed a taste for human beasts, did you?" He said nothing, his face impassive. What had she done? He didn't move. Her curse had worked then. I was too late. I'd failed him, damned him. "But," Amarantha said slowly. I could sense the adder and the entire court looming behind me. "It makes me wonder. If only one human girl could be taken once she killed your sentinel." Her eyes sparked. "Oh, you are delicious. You let me torture that innocent girl to keep this one safe. You lovely thing. You actually made a human worm love you. Marvelous." She clapped her hands, and Tamlin merely looked away from her, the only reaction I'd seen from him. Tortured. She'd tortured. "Let him go," I said, trying to keep my voice steady. Amarantha laughed again. "Give me one reason why I shouldn't destroy you where you stand, human." Her teeth were so straight and white, almost glowing. My blood pounded in my veins. But I kept my chin high as I said, "You tricked him. He is bound unfairly." Tamlin had gone very, very still. Amarantha clicked her tongue and looked at one of her slender white hands, at the ring on her index finger. A ring, I noticed as she lowered her hand again, set with what looked like a human eye encased in crystal. I could have sworn it swiveled inside. "You human beasts are so uncreative. We spent years teaching you poetry and fine speech, and that is all you can come up with? I should rip out your tongue for letting it go to waste." I clamped my teeth together. "But I'm curious. What eloquence will pour from your lips when you behold what you should have been?" My brows narrowed as Amarantha pointed behind me, that hideous eye-ring indeed looking with her, and I turned. There, nailed high on the wall of the enormous cavern, was the mangled corpse of a young woman. Her skin was burned in places, her fingers were bent at odd angles, and garish red lines crisscrossed her naked body. I could hardly hear Amarantha over the roar in my ears. "Perhaps I should have listened when she said she'd never seen Tamlin before," Amarantha mused. "Or when she insisted she'd never killed a fairy, never hunted a day in her life. Though her screaming was delightful. I haven't heard such lovely music in ages." Her next words were directed at me. I should thank you for giving Rysand her name instead of yours. Claire Bador. This was where they'd taken her, what they'd done to her after they burned her family alive in their house. This was what I'd done to her by giving Rysand her name to protect my family. My insides twisted. It was a concentrated effort not to empty my stomach into the stones. The adder's talons dug into my shoulders as it shoved me around to face Amarantha, who was still giving me that snake smile. I had good as killed Claire. I'd saved my own life and damned her. That rotting body on the wall should be mine. Come now, precious, Amarantha said. What have you to say to that? I wanted to spit that she deserved to burn in hell for eternity, but I could only see Claire's body nailed there, even as I stared blankly at Tamlin. He'd let them kill Claire like that, to keep them from knowing that I was alive. My eyes stung as bile burned my throat. Do you still wish to claim someone who would do that to an innocent? Amarantha said softly, consolingly. Babe? Tamlin. I think this motherfucker fell asleep.
I think so.
Bruh. Dude, I'm gonna be pissed if I have to read all of that again. Dude.
Hello? Hello?
Hey.
Hey, my party cut out. Hello? Hello?
You're...
I'm
Yes,
here.
hello?
Oh, sorry, my party cut out. I didn't have any audio.
Dude, you were snoring.
Oh, I have no idea. Don't know why.
You've been passed out for like 5 minutes.
Oh, my bad.
I am so mad. I've read so
I'm
much, and then
so
we heard you
sorry.
snoring.
The last thing I remember is she
You just
snuck
started
into the
snoring
court.
really lately. Oh my god,
Alice
that was so long ago.
Alice helped her get to the wall.
Dude, I'm gonna punch you in the face. That was so long ago. I've read half a fucking chapter.
I'm sorry.
Stop your fucking stream and take a nap, you fucking drunk.
I'm awake now that you yelled at me.
I'm gonna keep yelling at you. I'm so mad. Gary's just been fucking hanging out like a goddamn trooper.
Because Gary doesn't give a shit what he does.
No, but he's listening to me read the end of a book.
Gary, do you have any interest in this book?
A little bit.
Hey, Gary.
Court of Thorns and Roses.
Gary,
Genuinely
it's a
love it.
romance book and it's got sex scenes.
Hey Gary, it's also about fairy kings
It's a romance book written by
and
a woman
magic.
for women.
It's a fantasy book, and it's also a retelling of Beauty and the Beast.
Face the inner self.
Fucking just snoring on my goddamn screen. I'm taking a break from reading before I go back.
Sorry, honey.
I don't like it when you drink that much, at least when you don't have another adult in the house.
Sorry. I'm done now.
Thank you. Do you even have anything left?
I haven't even had half the bottle.
I wouldn't know. The last thing I heard, you had been taking 8 shots so far.
Yeah, because I had 4 cups of fucking double shots. I just mixed them with the Sunny D. That's all it was. And I just slept off my buzz.
You also fucking shotgunned them, too.
And I just slept off my
I don't
buzz.
mind... Listen, baby, I don't mind you drinking that much. I just don't like you drinking that much alone.
Oh, I'm fine. Like I said, I just slept off my buzz.
I also don't like you falling asleep like that on the headphones and not being able to get a hold of you because, especially after everything that just happened with Brandy and Josh,
Oh,
my
I'm
first
sorry,
thought is
honey.
that, well, he's having a stroke and dying.
I'm sorry. Oh, I was fine. I guess I fell asleep right here on the couch.
You're fine, I just worry.
Oh, I'm fine. Come back, Verdi! Don't look at me like that, puppy. We're not friends. Even the puppo know we not friends. We not friends, puppo. Don't puppo over here. What'd I say? I said don't puppo over here. I said don't puppo over here. And what are you doing? You're puppoing over here. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, yeah, puppo. Puppo, attention! Attention! Oh, yes, a puppo. Oh, yes, puppo. Puppy. Puppy, get your face out of my knee. I can't give you scritches if you're down there. Oh, yes. I can't give you scritches. Oh, yeah, puppy. 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 About 8 o'clock is when I'm going to start dinner, babe.
Alright, it's also when I'm about to start cleaning up the store.
Because you close at 9, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought. That's why I was going to make dinner at 8. So that way by the time I'm done, because I have to go in there and prep the chicken and everything. By the time I'm done, you should be getting
in the right
home.
drawer where the lids are.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Sweet. That makes everything so much better. When you get home, will you help me make the mead?
Yeah.
After you do your shower and whatever you're gonna do.
Yeah.
You okay?
Yeah, I'm gonna try to stay up late tonight, but you have to make sure I'm up on time in the morning.
I will get you up in time. I will set like 6 alarms if I have to. I'll fucking start setting alarms at 6 a.m. if I got to.
I
Just
don't
make
want to
sure
be up
to.
at 6 a.m.
I will get up at 6 a.m. That way I can make sure you are up by 7. Just make sure that you plug in those white headphones when you get home and bring in my blue ones. How am I supposed to go through the abyss gate if the door is closed? Oh, because there's a different door. Alright, while this fast travels, I have to pee. Move. I gotta come to.
Hello. How can I help you find today?
Okay, I'm back.
What? I'm sorry, but what was that? I've got Flazy Susans all the way down to the Deadwood Empire Susans, and then I do have the Wallace.
one or two. Who cares? It's all too complicated for me. Anyway, getting here couldn't have been easy. And breathe. Let your head cool a while.
I was told I could find guidance here.
Goodness, what do you need that for? You're doing well enough on your own. I like you just the way you are, don't you?
I'm not sure.
Good or bad, life goes on, so it's best to just go with the flow. Try too hard and you'll just trip over your own feet. Stop overthinking and just keep doing what you do. Go help a few lost souls, and you'll see what I mean. That'll teach you a real lesson. May peace and light be with you.
Wait, I still have...
Welcome back. Hello. What can I get for you, dude? What kind?
Fucking spaced out, so sorry.
No, you're fine, baby. Are you okay?
Guys,
That's okay. I fell asleep in the middle of my stream.
that's funny.
Your mom called me on my phone and blew my phone up.
Bro, fucking dude. Oh, I can't wait until I fucking dude. Wait until I'm playing on PC.
Like I said, I can get that cord on payday, but it'll have to be until then.
What?
I can get that cord on payday, but that won't be until next Friday.
Everybody in the fucking friend group is hyped about it. They're just like, fuck yeah, dude, you get PC now.
I'm glad. How do you feel about peppers? They're not spicy, they're just peppers.
I don't know. I don't.
You don't have to eat them.
They will probably have to be cooked and seasoned.
Oh, they're gonna be cooked.
Yeah, they need to be cooked and seasoned. That's all. Otherwise, I have no idea if I will like this or not because I have
Fan
not
the flames within your
peppers
hearts.
like that.
Boil your blood to the final drop.
I think I have to set myself on fire.
Well, what'd you do that for?
No, I said I think I have to set myself on fire.
Why?
You would have to have watched the small little demi cutscene. But basically, he said set yourself on fire till the last drop of your blood boils.
Okay then.
So I think I have to set myself on fire to reduce my health.
It's actually pretty awesome.
I just need the what's in the dishwasher out.
What is in the dishwasher?
If it's not clean, you can just rinse it.
Okay.
So I was correct that I had to set myself on fire. I was just wrong on how.
Let the starlight of your soul sink into the still sea of dream.
Alright, give me like 3 minutes. I'm gonna sweep up and clean up the store real fast because it takes me about that long.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna start dinner at exactly 8 o'clock when my alarm goes off.
Are you gonna, like, do you want me to call you, or are you just gonna...
No, I was just gonna keep the headphones on. I was just gonna end my stream. I was gonna stay in the
Okay.
party.
I didn't... That's what I wasn't sure about.
Okay. Put it in there. Put it down.
Thank you, baby.
Is everything okay with the kid? I heard you guys hollering.
Yeah, she's fine.
Well,
I
you said
don't-
you fell asleep on the couch.
Oh yeah, she laughed at me.
Oh, yeah, dude. Ugh. I almost called her to come wake you up, but I didn't know how you wake up when you're, you know, white girl wasted.
I don't have enough fucking spirit points. I literally am not leveled up enough to do this.
To do what?
I have to open a door with my spirit power. Basically, it drains my spirit bar to open the door, and it empties before the door opens. I don't have enough spirit points.
So what, you have to grind?
Yeah, I gotta grind my ass off. I'm at level 2 of 12 spirit.
Oof.
And
That's just not something you've been...
yeah, I just haven't put points into it. And the level at which it drains, I'm betting I gotta be at like level 5.
Yuck.
So I gotta go and smash out some side quests. You have no pants on. Yes.
What?
I said she has no pants on. And she said
Yeah, I
yes,
heard
no
that.
pants. She said yes, no pants. I love you too.
I'm unbelievably hungry.
Dinner will be ready almost as soon as you walk in the door. Papa, you stupid head.
Hey, please don't whistle in my ear. That was awkward.
Sorry.
Yes, it's definitely loud.
Hey, please don't be a butthead.
I can't help it. You married a butthead.
I reject.
What is it?
I want a divorce.
I divorce. Oh, I got the letter. I got the call from the lawyer today, yesterday, whatever it was.
And
They want $275 per request, but a chunk of that is refundable depending on how the courts go.
wait, the
108.
lawyers want us to pay them?
Yes, because we're paying them a retaining fee, and they are the ones going to court for us, so we don't have to like show up or anything, as far as I understand. And then they just get it done, and then whatever's left over, they refund to us.
I guess I don't understand why I have to have.
Because in order to get in order to get our name changed, we have to go to court. We have to have a court date set. We have to meet with a judge. We have to explain why we want our names changed. All kinds of stuff.
So a judge gets to decide if my
Yeah, a judge
reason
gets to
change my name
decide.
is good enough.
Yeah, a judge gets to decide whether or not we get to change our name.
Oh, I hate it here.
If the judge says no, you can't change your name, then no, you can't change your name, and you have to apply again.
I hope you know I'm far less likely to be able to do this than you.
Why?
Because my family name, my maiden name, is far more well known than yours is. And the Diggses don't fucking play like that. Like, the reason I'm changing my name is generational trauma. Like,
Wear your armor like a work of art.
there's a very real likelihood that they're gonna say, no, talk to your daddy. Work it out.
A blazing fire
The
is
Bible
the
says
secret
to honor thy father and mother.
I will kill that judge. Just straight up.
I'm
That
just
judge
telling you,
won't.
that's
That
a
judge
very real
just.
possibility.
That judge just won't be a judge for much longer after that date. They
You're
will
still
be
streaming.
in the ground. Yes.
I don't feel like you should make threats like that on fucking internet, babe, and I wish you would be more goddamn careful.
I didn't threaten a person. There is no name attached. There is no judge assigned. I have not threatened a living human being.
Just wish you would be smarter.
I am smart. I don't know what to upgrade though.
You're extremely smart, which is why your choices mind boggle me.
You mind boggle me.
Because of my cutting wit.
Yes, that is exactly it. Echo, stop. Computer, stop. Thank you. I appreciate you, computer. She said that she hopes I have a wonderful rest of my day, and nobody else has said that to me today. In fact, somebody has specifically been mean to me today.
Fuck her.
You're just jealous because she loves me.
Do visit again.
It's weird.
What? Who's weird?
You guys.
Oh, you're just
You're
jealous
both
because
weird.
somebody loves me. Chris is jealous because the robot loves me. You're jealous because I get head.
Jesus Christ.
I didn't need to know that.
I violate your sister on the daily.
Jesus Christ.
Oh God.
We meet again.
Alright, I'm gonna go in there and start dinner as soon as I finish doing what I'm doing with my upgrades. But I'm gonna keep my headset on.
I'm gonna start reading here in a minute.
Oh, inventory full. When did I pick up all these fucking jars? Jesus Christ.
Got a customer.
I am a customer.
Hello? Pipe tobacco? Mm-mm. I have fucking pom-poms, dude. Jesus Christ.
I'm a pom-pom, what?
You'll find what you seek here.
Okay, so what was the last thing you remembered in this?
I remember that she met with Alice. Alice was mad at her because she didn't say I love you like a whore. She just took his gifts and left. And then she took her to the entry to the mountain, and she was supposed to be sneaking into the mountain.
Okay, so you remember her sneaking into the mountain.
Yes, but I don't remember anything about the mountain.
Okay, so restart back over here.
I apologize. My apologies.
The only sounds were my shallow breathing and the crunch of my boots on the stone. Stumbling through the frigid dark, I inched onward. I kept close to the wall, and my hands soon turned numb as the cold, wet stone bit into my skin. I took my small steps, fearful of some invisible pit that might send me tumbling to my doom. After what felt like an eternity, a crack of orange light cleaved through the dark, and then came the voices. Hissing and braying, eloquent and guttural, a cacophony bursting the silence like a firecracker. I pressed myself against the cave wall, but the sounds passed and faded. I crept toward the light, blinking back my blindness when I found the source, a slight fissure in the rock. It opened into a crudely carved, firelit subterranean passageway. I lingered in the shadows, my heart wild in my chest. The crack in the cave wall was large enough for one person to squeeze through, so jagged and rough that it was obviously not often used. A glance at the dirt revealed no tracks, no sign of anyone else using this entrance. The hallway beyond was clear, but it veered off, obscuring my view. The passage was deathly quiet, but I remembered Alice's warning and didn't trust my ears, not when fairies could be silent as cats. Still, I had to leave this place. Tamlin had been here for weeks already. I had to find where Amarantha kept him, and hopefully not run into anyone in the process. Killing animals in the Naga had been one thing, but killing any others... I took several deep breaths, bracing myself. It was the same as hunting, only this time the animals were fairies. Fairies who could torture me endlessly. Torture me until I begged for death. Torture me the way they tormented that summer court fairy whose wings had been ripped off. I didn't let myself think about those bleeding stumps as I eased toward the tiny opening, sucking in my stomach to squeeze through. My weapon scraped against the stone, and I winced at the hiss of falling pebbles. Keep moving, keep moving. Hurrying across the open hallway, I pressed into an alcove in the opposite wall. It didn't provide much cover. I slunk along the wall, pausing at the bend in the hall. This was a mistake. Only an idiot would come here. I could be anywhere in Amarantha's court. Alice should have given me more information. I should have been smart enough to ask, or smart enough to think of another way, any way but this. I risked a glance around the corner and almost sobbed in frustration. Another hallway carved out of the mountain's pale stone, lined on either side by torches. No shadowy spots for concealment, and at its other end, my view was yet again obscured by a sharp turn. It was wide open. I was as good as a starving doe, ripping bark off a tree in a clearing. But the halls were silent. The voices I'd heard earlier were gone. And if I heard anyone, I could sprint back to that cave mouth. I could do reconnaissance for a time, gather information, find out where Tamlin was. No, a second opportunity might not arise for a while. I had to act now. If I stopped for too long, I'd never work up the nerve again. I made to slip around the corner. Long, bony fingers wrapped around my arm and I went rigid. A pointed, leathery gray face came into view, and its silver fangs glistened as it smiled at me. "Hello," it hissed. "What's something like you doing here?" I knew that voice. It still haunted my nightmares. So it was all I could do to keep from screaming as its bat-like ears cocked and I realized that I stood before the adder. The adder kept its icy grip on my upper arm as it half-dragged me to the throne room. It didn't bother to strip me of my weapons. We both knew they were of little use. Tamlin, Alice and her boys, my sisters, Lucian. I silently chanted their names again and again as the adder loomed above me, a demon of malice. Its leathery wings rustled occasionally, and had I been able to speak without screaming, I might have asked why it hadn't killed me outright. The adder just tugged me onward with that slithering gait, its clawed feet making leisurely scratches on the cave floor. It looked unnervingly identical to how I painted it. Leering faces, cruel and harsh, watched me go by, none of them looking remotely concerned or disturbed that I was in the claws of the adder. Fairies, lots of them, but few high fae to be seen. We strode through two ancient, enormous stone doors, taller than Tamlin's manor, and into a vast chamber carved by pale rock, upheld by countless carved pillars. That small part of me that had again become trivial and useless noted that the carvings weren't just ornate designs, but actually depicted fairies and high fae and animals in various environments and states of movement. Countless stories of Prythian were etched on them. Chandeliers of jewels hung between the pillars, staining the red marble floor with color. Here were the high fae. An assembled crowd took up most of the space, some of them dancing to strange, off-kilter music, some milling about chatting, a party of sorts. I thought I spied some glittering masks among the attendees, but everything was a blur of sharp teeth and fine clothing. The adder hurled me forward, and the world spun. The cold marble was unyielding.
What is
as I
an
slammed
adder?
into
Have they
it.
given a description of an adder?
They
I don't
just
remember one.
described him for the first time, and not a very good one. He's just a very bony, skeletal-like being. He's tall, lanky, and he has a pointed face. Think like a skeleton bat.
Like Shy Guy?
No, not like that. He's got bat ears.
Okay.
And he's got like leathery skin and leathery wings. He really is like a giant, mangy bat, basically.
Like a wingless bat?
No, he's got wings.
He does have wings.
Yeah.
Okay, I must have missed that
He
part. I'm
really is
sorry.
like a giant, mangy, skeletal bat.
Okay. All right, thank you. I guess I just missed that part.
It literally just happened, and it didn't go into detail.
Sorry, I'm used to more descriptive
Up
stuff.
until this point, it details it better later on, but up until this point, she has never seen the adder. Like, that was the
The
first
adder
moment she
was
saw
the
him
thing that was darkened before,
invisible.
right? Yeah,
Yeah.
invisible. That first thing that she came across, where they said, "Don't move,
Yes.
don't look at it."
No, that was the bogey.
That was the bogey.
Yes, the
Okay.
don't look at it, don't acknowledge it was the bogey. But when they were in the garden and she heard Lucian and Tamlin talking about a her, they were talking to the adder, but she never saw it because they had it so heavily glamored, had everything so
Okay.
heavily glamored. So
That's right,
she
because they
was
didn't let
hiding
her
and she
see
never saw
anything.
it. Yeah.
Okay, I misunderstood.
So that the first moment that we see or that we have a description of the adder is when she gets captured by him. So there wasn't a very good description right there because she was terrified and it was the end of the chapter.
Okay.
Okay. The cold marble floor was unyielding as I slammed into it, my bones groaning and barking. I pushed myself up, sparks dancing in my eyes, but stayed on the ground, kept low as I beheld the dais before me. A few steps led onto the platform. I lifted my head higher. There, lounging on a black throne, was Amarantha. Though lovely, she wasn't as devastatingly beautiful as I had imagined, wasn't some goddess of darkness and spite. It made her all the more petrifying. Her red gold hair was neatly braided and woven through her golden crown, the deep color enriching her snow-white skin, which, in turn, set off her ruby lips. But while her ebony eyes shone, there was something that sucked at her beauty, some kind of permanent sneer to her features that made her allure seem contrived and cold. To paint her would have driven me to madness. The highest commander of the King of Hybern, she'd slaughtered human armies centuries ago, had murdered her slaves rather than free them, and she'd captured all of Prythian in a matter of days. Then I looked to the black rock throne beside her, and my arms buckled beneath me. He was still wearing that golden mask, still wearing his warrior's clothes, that baldric, even though there were no knives sheathed along it, not a single weapon anywhere on him. His eyes didn't widen, his mouth didn't tighten, no claws, no fangs. He just stared at me, unfeeling, unmoved, unimpressed. "What's this?" Amarantha said, her voice lilting despite the adder smile she gave me. From her slender, creamy neck hung a long, thin chain, and from it dangled a single, age-worn bone the size of a finger. I didn't want to consider whom it might have belonged to as I remained on the floor. If I shifted my arm, I could draw my dagger. "Just a human thing I found downstairs," the adder hissed, and a forked tongue darted out between its razor-sharp teeth. It flapped its wings once, blasting foul-smelling air at me, and then neatly tucked them behind its skeletal body. Obviously, Amaranth purred. I avoided meeting her eyes, focusing on Tamlin's brown boots. He was 10 feet from me, 10 feet, and not saying a word, not even looking horrified or angry. But why should I bother with her? The adder chuckled, the sound like sizzling water on a griddle, and a taloned foot jabbed my side. "Tell Her Majesty why you were sneaking around the catacombs, why you came out of the old cave that leads to the spring court." Would it be better to kill the adder, or to try to make it to Amarantha? The adder kicked me again, and I winced as its claws bit into my ribs. "Tell Her Majesty, you human filth." I needed time. I needed to figure out my surroundings. If Tamlin was under some kind of spell, then I would have to worry about grabbing him. I eased to my feet, keeping my hands within casual reach of my daggers. I stared at Amarantha's glittering golden crown rather than meet her eyes. "I came to claim the one I love," I said quietly. Perhaps the curse could still be broken. Again I looked at him, and the sight of those emerald eyes was a balm. "Oh?" Amarantha said, leaning forward. "I've come to claim Tamlin, High Lord of the Spring Court." A gasp rippled through the assembled court, but Amarantha tipped back her head and laughed, a raven's caw. The High Queen turned to Tamlin, and her lips pulled back in a wicked smile. You certainly were busy all those years. Developed a taste for human beasts, did you? He said nothing, his face impassive. What had she done? He didn't move. Her curse had worked then. I was too late. I'd failed him, damned him. But, Amarantha said slowly, I could sense the adder and the entire court looming behind me. It makes me wonder. If only one human girl could be taken once she killed your sentinel. Her eyes sparked. Oh, you are delicious. You let me torture that innocent girl to keep this one safe. You lovely thing. You actually made a human worm love you. Marvelous. She clapped her hands, and Tamlin merely looked away from her, the only reaction I'd seen from him. Tortured. She'd tortured. Let him go, I said, trying to keep my voice steady. Amarantha laughed again. Give me one reason why I shouldn't destroy you where you stand, human. Her teeth were so straight and white, almost glowing. My blood pounded in my veins, but I kept my chin high as I said, You tricked him. He's bound unfairly. Tamlin had gone very, very still. Amarantha clicked her tongue and looked at one of her slender white hands, at the ring on her index finger. A ring, I noticed as she lowered her hand again, set with what looked like a human eye encased in crystal. I could have sworn it swiveled inside. You human beasts are so uncreative. We spent years teaching you poetry and fine speech, and that is all you can come up with? I should rip out your tongue for letting it go to waste. I clamped my teeth together. But I'm curious. What eloquence will pour from your lips when you behold what you should have been? My brows narrowed as Amarantha pointed behind me. That hideous ring indeed looking with her, and I turned. There, nailed high on the wall of the enormous cavern, was the mangled corpse of a young woman. Her skin was burned in places, her fingers were bent at odd angles, and garish red lines crisscrossed her naked body. I could hardly hear Amarantha over the roar in my ears. Perhaps I should have listened when she said she'd never seen Tamlin before, Amarantha mused, or when she insisted she'd never killed a fairy, never hunted a day in her life. Though her screaming was delightful, I haven't heard such lovely music in ages. Her next words were directed at me. I should thank you for giving Rysand her name instead of yours. Claire Bedore. This was where they had taken her, what they'd done to her after they'd burned her family alive in their house. This was what I had done to her by giving Rysand her name to protect my family. My insides twisted. It was a concentrated effort not to empty my stomach onto the stones. The adder's talons dug into my shoulders as it shoved me around to face Amarantha, who was still giving me that snake smile. I had as good as killed Claire. I'd saved my own life and damned her. That rotting body on the wall should be mine. Come now, precious, Amarantha said. What have you to say to that? I wanted to spit that she deserved to burn in hell for eternity, but I could only see Claire's body nailed there, even as I stared blankly at Tamlin. He'd let them kill Claire like that, to keep them from knowing that I was alive. My eyes stung as bile burned my throat. Do you still wish to claim someone who would do that to an innocent? Amarantha said softly, consolingly. I snapped my gaze to her. I wouldn't let Claire's death be in vain. I wasn't going down without a fight. Yes, I said. Yes, I do. Her lip curled back, revealing 2 sharp canines, and as I stared into her black eyes, I realized I was going to die. But Amarantha leaned back in her throne and crossed her legs. Well, Tamlin, she said, putting a proprietary hand on his arm, I don't suppose you have ever expected this to occur. She waved a hand in my general direction. A murmur of laughter from those assembled echoed around me, hitting me like stones. What do you have to say, High Lord? I looked at the face I loved so dearly, and his next words almost sent me to my knees. I've never seen her before. Someone must have glamored her as a joke. Probably Rysand. Still trying to protect me, even now, even here. Oh, that's not even a halfway decent lie, Amarantha angled her head. Could it be that you, despite your words so many years ago, return the human's feelings? A girl with hate in your heart for our kind has managed to fall in love with a fairy, and a fairy whose father once slaughtered the human masses by my side has actually fallen in love with her too. She let out that crow's laugh again. Oh, this is too good. This is too fun. She fingered the bone hanging from her necklace and looked at the encased eye upon her hand. I suppose if anyone can appreciate the moment, she said to the ring, it would be you, Jurian. She smiled prettily. A pity your human whore on the side never bothered to save you, though. Jurian, that was his eye, his finger bone. Horror coiled in my gut. Through whatever evil, whatever power, she somehow held his soul, his consciousness to the ring, the bone. Tamlin still looked at me without recognition, without a flicker of feeling. Perhaps she had used that same power to glamour him. Perhaps she'd taken all of his memories. The Queen picked at her nails. Things have been awfully boring since Claire decided to die on me. Killing you outright, human, would be dull. She flicked her gaze to me, then back to her nails, to the ring on her finger. But fate stirs the cauldron in strange ways. Perhaps my darling Claire had to die in order for me to have some true amusement with you. My bowels turned watery. I couldn't help it. You came to claim Tamlin? Amarantha said. It wasn't a question, but a challenge. Well, as it happens, I'm bored to tears of his sullen silence. I was worried when he didn't flinch while I played with darling Claire, when he didn't even show those lovely claws. But I'll make a bargain with you, human, she said, and warning bells pealed in my mind. Unless your life depends on it, Alice had said. You complete 3 tasks of my choosing. 3 tasks to prove how deep that human sense of loyalty and love runs, and Tamlin is yours. Just 3 little challenges to prove your dedication, to prove to me, to darling Jurian, that your kind can indeed love true, and you can have your High Lord. She turned to Tamlin. Consider it a favor, High Lord. These human dogs can make our kind so lust-blind that we lose all common sense. Better for you to see her true nature now. I want his curse broken too, I blurted. She raised a brow, her smile growing, revealing far too many of those white teeth. I complete all 3 of your tasks, and his curse is broken, and we, and all of his court, can leave here, and remain free forever. I added. Magic was specific, Alice had said. That was how Amarantha had tricked them. I wouldn't let loopholes be my downfall. Of course, Amarantha purred. I'll throw in another element, if you don't mind, just to see if you're worthy of one of our kind, if you're smart enough to deserve him. Jurian's eye swiveled wildly, and she clicked her tongue at it. The eye stopped moving. I'll give you a way out, girl, she went on. You'll complete all the tasks. Or, when you can't stand it anymore, all you have to do is answer one question. I could barely hear her above the blood pounding in my ears. A riddle. You solve the riddle and his curse will be broken. Instantaneously. I won't even need to lift my finger and he'll be free. Say the right answer and he's yours. You can answer it at any time, but if you answer incorrectly, she pointed, and I didn't need to know that she gestured to Claire. I turned her words over, looking for traps and loopholes within her phrasing, but it all sounded right. And what if I fail your tasks? Her smile became almost grotesque, and she rubbed a thumb across the dome of her ring. If you fail a task, there won't be anything left of you for me to play with. A chill slithered down my spine. Alice had warned me against bargains, but Amarantha would kill me in an instant if I said no. What is the nature of my tasks? Oh, revealing that would take all of the fun out of it, but I'll tell you that you'll have 1 task every month, at the full moon. And in the meantime, I dared a glance at Tamlin. The gold in his eyes was brighter than I remembered. In the meantime, Amarantha said a bit sharply, you shall either remain in your cell or do whatever additional work I require. If you run me ragged, won't that put me at a disadvantage? I knew she was losing interest, that she hadn't expected me to question her so much, but I had to try to gain some kind of edge. Nothing beyond basic housework. It's only fair for you to earn your keep. I could have strangled her for that, but I nodded. Then we're agreed. I knew she waited for me to echo her response, but I had to make sure. If I complete your 3 tasks, or solve your riddle, you'll do as I request. Of course, Amarantha said. Is it agreed? His face ghastly white, Tamlin's eyes met with mine, and they almost imperceptibly widened. No. But it was either this or death. Death like Claire's, slow and brutal. The adder hissed behind me, a warning to reply. I didn't believe in fate or the cauldron, and I had no other choice. Because when I looked into Tamlin's eyes, even now, seated beside Amarantha as her slave or worse, I loved him with a fierceness that swept up my whole heart. because when he had widened his eyes, I'd known he still loved me. I had nothing left but that, but the shred of fool's hope that I might win, that I might outwit and defeat a fairy queen as ancient as the stone beneath me. Well? Amarantha demanded. Behind me I sensed the adder preparing to pounce, to peep the answer from me if need be. She tricked them all, but I hadn't survived poverty and years in the woods for not. My best chance lay in revealing nothing about myself, or what I knew. What was her court but another forest, another hunting ground? I glanced at Tamlin one last time before I said, agreed. Amarantha gave me a small, horrible smile, and magic sizzled in the air between us as she snapped her fingers. She nestled back in her throne. Give her a greeting worthy of my hall, she said to someone behind me. The adder's hiss was my only warning as something rock-hard collided with my jaw. I was thrown sideways, stunned from the pain, but another brutal blow to my face awaited. Bones crunched. My bones. My legs twisted beneath me, and the adder's leathery skin grated against my cheek as it punched me again. I ricocheted away, but met with the fist of another, a twisted, lesser fairy whose face I didn't glimpse. It was like being slugged with a brick. Crunch, crack. I think there were 3 of them, and I became their punching bag, passed off from blow to blow, my bones screaming in agony. Maybe I was screaming in agony, too. Blood sprayed from my mouth, and its metallic tang coated my tongue before I knew no more. Pause.
That's fine. I gotta go do dinner anyways.
30 minutes late?
Yeah, sorry, I got stuck doing something. I didn't realize how long it was.
You're carrying a fair amount of gear, aren't you? Come, sunshine.
Tyre is a... Tyre only grows in houses. Tough, isn't it?